What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC's Pop Culture, where you can see all kinds of pop culture content with me, JC, here today, continuing the October Horror Onslaught. Although it hasn't been as big of an onslaught as I'd initially planned. Apologies for that, guys. But I did, get to the point where it's going to be at least, like one commentary per week throughout the month of October. We're going to try and do better moving into November and December for what we're calling holiday horror season. We're going to do some holiday horror movies here on the channel, Thanksgiving, and then, of course, my favorite type of slashers, the Christmas-themed slashers. We're going to get into those as well throughout the next couple of months. That's what we'll dive into. But I did want to, at least get a couple more of these out. So this one will be releasing on Halloween. So happy Halloween, guys. But we're going to do another commentary here for a Halloween movie. Not necessarily one of my favorites. It's fallen down the list as I've gotten older, but the reason I have to throw this one in here to do is because it's actually the first Halloween movie I ever watched was Halloween H20. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We've done Halloween, Halloween 4. Now we're going Halloween H20. So kind of works out because we get to see kind of the, when we talk about the timelines with the Halloween franchise, one of those goes into, the Cult of Thorn trilogy, which we touched on there by hitting Halloween 4. But then also you can branch off into the H20 timeline, which we're going to touch on here with H20, and then move forward in the franchise. Like I said, eventually I want to do commentaries for all the Halloween films. Knew I wasn't going to get to all of them this month, but hopefully in the future we'll get to them here on the channel. Maybe next year I'll try and pre-record some to release in October or something, do a better job of it, because you guys know it's just hard for me during the fall season with me covering WVU football on my other channel, Country Roads Webcast, which you can find here on YouTube and all podcast platforms. But we got another one coming here. I'll quit babbling and we'll get into it. Halloween H20 from 1998 fit right in there in the window when I, we just started watching horror movies because I was born in the early 90s. So that's why it was the first one I ever saw. So we're going to get into the commentary for this one. You guys want to watch along, go get it ready. I'm sure it's on some streaming service. Can't remember which one. I think I saw was maybe on Paramount Plus right now. I know a lot of the Halloween movies are on Shudder right now also. If you got your Blu-ray, DVD, whatever, get that ready. That's what I'm watching, the H2O Blu-ray. But I'm going to say, and here we go. When I say go, that's when you want to push play. If you're watching along with me and listening to me on the commentary, let's get into it, guys. And before we get into it, just want to remind you guys, if you are tuned into this, hit the thumbs up button. That helps a shit ton with that YouTube algorithm here on the channel, helps get it pushed out to more people that are also fans of Halloween and movies in general. And if you're a fan of those, or college football, the college football 25 video game specifically, and college football 26 as it's getting set to gear up to start news rolling out. I got a video out about that on the channel already. If you're a fan of any of those things, subscribe here to JC's Pop Culture as well. We'll get all that pop culture content and more here on the channel. But all right, guys, I think that gave you enough time. If you needed to pause this, hopefully you did. Let's get into Halloween H2O. Are we ready? And here we go. I have pushed play. You should be seeing the Miramax stuff coming up on the screen. The Miramax is now in clear view in white text on my screen. That's where you should be at. If you're needing to sync up. Let's get into it. Hey, Mr. Sandman. I like that it started with that. It's funny, though, because like I said, this was the first Halloween movie I ever watched, so I didn't even realize that I'd seen, like, some scenes that were from the original Halloween, and it was, like, calling back to that, like, when her dream sequence when she's in the closet and stuff like that. So, I went back and, of course, then got into the franchise for real as I got older, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And, of course, 78 is my favorite. And when I first got into it, I thought that this was an awesome one. But then the more of my scene and the more I learned about the franchise, I was like, oh, yeah, this is kind of, because to me, this is kind of like Scream. I think at one point, Kevin Williamson even had a hand in one of the early scripts, and they used, parts of that in this script. They even used some of the score from Scream. It came out, 2 years after Scream, so it was kind of capitalized on that, and it kind of captures that same feel. It almost feels more like a Screamish type atmosphere, the way it's shot and the lighting and just some of the choices. And of course, the mask debacle is one of the things that brings it down my list as well in my ranking. I do want to try to do a ranking of the films at some point, but you can go see mine already on my Letterboxd if you want to follow me there on the Letterboxd app. It's JC Cruz. But this mask that they're using in the early openings is great because you can know it's one of my favorite masks. You can see it back here behind me, right beside the College Football 25 locker. That's the Halloween 6 mask, the Halloween Curse of Michael Myers mask, which I think is great. And so I think they should have just went forward and used that one. In this movie, they ended up using like 4 different masks. You got that one. You got the CGI mask. You got the alien mask. You'll see them at different points in this movie. I'll try and point them out when you can see it. But you'll see the mask change, and the one they eventually settled on, I don't think was the best, but nonetheless, I don't think Chris Durand, who plays Michael Myers in this movie, is bad either. The opening is one of my favorite parts. Hey, JGL there. You think that was also a shout out to a little Easter egg for Friday 13th with him wearing the hockey mask and then being like in the hockey gear and shit? Could be. It's Robin. Robin is going to help her save the day. We got Robin from Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy here. I do like how they brought this nurse back. See, I never even knew that when I first watched this, that's the nurse from the original or whatever. Which of course she comes back again in Halloween Kills, which I prefer to Halloween H2O personally. And I prefer Halloween 2018 to Halloween H2O as well. But overall, like the David Gordon Green trilogy, Halloween Ends knocked it way down for me. But I do like the way that Laurie is portrayed in here in Halloween H2O, probably more than it ended up being portrayed in the Halloween, David Gordon Green trilogy, just because I liked her a lot in 2018. But then in Ends, she was like, they just made like a complete weird character turn. Like she went from where we saw her in Halloween 2018, she's got everything locked down, at the place. And, she's kind of this badass, almost like a Sarah Connor type character. To then in Halloween Ends, all of a sudden she's like baking cookies on Halloween and like happy and not even worrying about shit. I don't know. It was weird. But I do like Laurie Strode in this one in H2O. Getting a little crazy with the stick, but now Michael's about to stick him here in a minute. It kinda almost even feels like they were kinda trying to do a Scream thing here, like you bring in kind of a more well-known actor for the opening just to kill him off. They was like, "Oh, yeah, they did awesome with that with Drew Barrymore. Let's see if who we can get." Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt said we can get him. Alright, let's do it. We're gonna kill Joseph Gordon-Levitt off in the opening. We gotta make the Halloween Scream, the Halloween version of Scream. But it did well. I mean, it worked at the time. It just hasn't I don't think it's aged as well. It does have its moments, though. This opening is one of my favorites of those moments. I forgot because he says, "Oh, yeah, they fucked up your kitchen really bad, too." But it's really crazy to me because it didn't even look like the sun was going down when he went in there. I mean, it was bright as hell, and then he comes out, and all of a sudden, it's nighttime, pitch black. Yeah, they needed the files on Michael Myers. Yeah, there it is. Messed up your kitchen really bad, too. There's a nice touch in this opening coming up here because they end up calling the cops, but they end up going to the other house because they end up at the other one. You'll see what I'm talking about. I didn't explain that well at all. That was an absolutely terrible explanation, but you guys have I mean, if you're watching this, I'm sure you've probably seen this before. If you're not, it's your first time watching. You're watching Halloween H2O with a commentary. Interesting choice, but I like it. I like to do that sometimes, so I can't judge it. Sometimes it's like a movie I hadn't seen and it's been out for a while, and then I see, a YouTuber I like doing a commentary for it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll watch it now. Listen to their commentary, talk about it a little bit while I watch it. Commentaries are the shit. Personally, I enjoy them. Listening to them. Hopefully, that's true for you guys as well. Oh, little Donald Pleasance nod right there. The GOAT, man. I think that's one thing, man. That's just this series really has missed him, dude. This voice actor they have doing the Dr. Loomis voice, I used to think it was great, and then the older I've gotten, it wasn't that good, especially after seeing the one in 20 and hearing the one in 2018. It was much more close, and it was still a little bit off, but for the intro here, which we get to in a bit. I mean, it's not bad. It starts off okay, but then it starts to slip, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, it's definitely an impersonation," which, of course, we knew because Donna Pleasance was no longer with us, unfortunately. She said, "Oh, nah, I ain't messing around with that. I'm getting the hell out of here." So this is what I'm talking about. So she goes over to this house, and then, they call the cops about her house, so they go to her house, and she's here. And she just literally has to watch through the window the people that are supposed to be coming to help her. "Told you Michael Myers was gonna stick him. Ice skate to the face." Which is great, little some body for people to find, calling back to the original, finding the bodies and stuff. But also, where's this scene, man? Where's the scene where he got them and then snuck over to her house and then knew she would come over there? See, like, next level thinking right here? Is this Michael Myers, like, that's so Raven seeing shit into the future? He's like, "Oh, yeah, they got my favorite knife." See, the mask looks fine here. That Halloween 6 masks. I thought he was gonna cut her Achilles when he had a hold of her foot right there when I first saw it. I feel like that's what they do today. Yeah, see, they're coming. They're at her house, and she'd went over there. But you gotta wonder, did Michael, like, hear her leave and then come over there, or was he just, like, gonna sneak her back over to the house anyway because he felt like she was gonna do it? Ooh, the throat slits always freak me out, man. I don't know why, they just freak me the hell out. And that's that. He got the Michael Myers got the file to find out where, Lori is. Find out her new secret identity. Like, she's Clark Kent now. She's, damn, what's her fucking name? Carrie Tate. I think that's it, right? There he goes, man. Pulling out in a car. I think they purposely tried to get a car with a similar body style to the one he drove in, '78 probably. H2O does do some cool things, some callbacks and stuff when you go back and look at it. I think it's cool you get, like a cold open in this one before the intro, but I do like the intro because you do get the Dr. Loomis lines along with it and stuff and some, like, pictures and everything that's, like, catching us up to where we are in the franchise also. Especially right here, this is like a heavy exposition scene trying to explain to us and everything with these, 2 cops here. Apologies for the slurping sounds, guys. I got some coffee recording this early Halloween morning. So Michael Myers was probably in his 40s at this point because this came out in what, 98? I think that's about right. 30s or 40s because he was what? And then she was 17. He had broke out. Yeah, I think that's about right. I don't know. I can't math well on the fly like that because he's what, in his 60s in Halloween 2018, right? They say because it was 40 years later. You guys think they should have called it H40? I mean, they literally held in the trend, did a 20-year later remake, but this one does include Halloween 2. We know that Halloween 2018 doesn't. It picks up as if Halloween 2 didn't happen. It takes all place after Halloween. Oh, here's a voiceover. See, at first, it sounds pretty accurate, but see, they're in the middle now, it starts to slip a little bit, and you're like, "Oh." I thought I don't know why, if they were gonna use the, same exact quotes like that we had heard him say already and not use, new quotes, why didn't they just use, pull that audio and use actually Donald Pleasance saying it? now that I hear it, because if they were gonna say something different that we hadn't heard, it'd be one thing. That's what they did in, the David Gordon Green trilogy. But if you are gonna use something that Donald Pleasance already said, just use the Donald Pleasance audio. Why not? Could they not? I mean, is it would they not have the rights to it? Because this is when Miramax had the franchise? I don't know. Yeah, because that's another quote that we heard him say before, which I love the quotes included, but I don't understand it. Why not just use Donald Pleasance? I've never paused this and looked at this, but I bet there's a bunch of good Easter eggs in here if you were like to pause this opening and read some of this shit. So basically, what we're going to find out here is that if you go by the one that we watched when we went through the timeline, Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, we know that Laurie Strode died in a car accident in that. And then, of course, we start following Jamie, and which is her daughter, and getting into the Thorn trilogy in 4, 5, and 6. But then they wanted to go a different way in H2O. They want to continue that. So H2O, Halloween 1 happened, Halloween 2 happened, and then Laurie Strode faked her death and for 20 years has been out here in California, which I think that's why this one feels different as well, because it takes place in California. But here's a good sequence here. Laurie's dream sequences play, through in this movie. Josh Hartnett. Was this the first movie I saw him in? I don't know if it was this or does that movie was that movie O or Q, the basketball movie based on the Shakespeare? I think it was called O. He was in that. I saw that too when I was younger. I think this may have been the first movie I saw Josh Hartnett in. I didn't watch The Faculty till I got older and started getting into horror. Yeah, that scene right there from the original. Of course, when I saw this, I never knew that that's what that was from. My gosh. To tell you scream when it's mid-April and you forgot that you haven't filed your taxes yet. Dude, Josh Hartnett, the best part of Trap, which I think I did a review for that on the channel. You can go find that on the JC's Pop Culture Pod here or any podcast platform. But Trap, yeah, it has some unbelievable things that you just kind of got to suspend disbelief for. But Josh Hartnett put on a hell of a performance, dude. I was loving what he was doing. He was like trying to be like this huge contrast between this like G shucks all swell dad and then just a crazy psychopath the other points. Josh Hartnett when he played a high school character, because he talked about this in I think it was the behind the scenes for this or the behind the scenes for the Faculty once. He would wear a beanie around his head all day till it was time to shoot, and then when it was time to shoot, take it off and like mess his hair up because he felt like he wanted to be like a slacker kid or whatever that wouldn't, if he was a high school kid, he wouldn't worry about his hair and shit. I'm like, okay. October 31st, Halloween. Hillcrest Academy. It's where this shit takes place. This was like, what, 2, 3 years before Freaky Friday. She looks exactly like she did in that movie. Which there's about to be a sequel to that shit coming out next year. I'd love to see him bring Josh Hartnett back to the franchise in some capacity, some way. That'd be crazy. They brought Josh Hartnett and Danielle Harris back and made that work somehow. He's 17. He looks like he's 24. I'm 17 years old, but I look like I could be married and have 2 kids by now. Just do a product placement for Life cereal. And Campbell's Chunky Soup. Why do you have one can of soup and a box of cereal? Why is your soup and cereal in the same cabinet? Your kitchen layout's all fucked up, lady. Why do you have multiple fruit baskets? There's a fruit bowl on top of the fridge. You got fruits over there. I'm going to Yosemite, Mom. She didn't even know it was Halloween, man. That's how I know you're not paying attention to shit, Mom. You don't even know the date. Michael Myers is dead. Yeah, that's probably like my most quotable line that I remember the most from this movie when he says that here in a bit, when they sneak out for lunch and shit. And she comes up to him, talks to him. He's like, Michael Myers is dead. So they really wanted to go to Yosemite, but they end up getting the pass to go, but then they don't go. They stay there. And so he never really wanted to go. He just needed her to say that he could go so she would think he was gone. At what point does that change? I can't remember. So that kind of brought that back a little bit in Halloween 2018 as well. Because if you remember the scene when she's watching the bus transport in Halloween 2018 and she sees like silhouette coming up to her and stuff, but I don't think anyone was really there. They didn't do it to the same extent that this movie does, where it messes with you because they establish early on that she has like visions of him, and then of course when she really does see him, she's trying to do the same shit she does to make the visions go away, and he's still there, and that creates something cool to play with throughout the movie. So that was a good aspect of this shit. It's a little boy from Jumanji, guys. I never realized that for the longest time until I don't know, like a decade ago. That was the little kid in Jumanji. Because I'd watched Jumanji a lot when I was little, and then of course I'd watch this, but I never made the connection. I guess because he looks a good bit older in this than he was in Jumanji, obviously. It's another thing about this movie, man. They just I understand I wanted to kill the little girl, but I feel like it's like why didn't he? Because he just ends up still in the car. He's like, I just need a new car. Mine ran out of gas. Gotta take this one. And I think that, like Halloween 2018, that's one thing David Gordon Green and Danny McBride talked about was nodding to other films. And I think as we go through this movie, and of course I've talked about it in a couple of the other commentaries too, you see nods like the bathroom scene in this. Maybe they felt the same. Maybe there's no way Michael Myers wouldn't have taken action there. Oh, he had a flat tire. That's what it was. He wasn't out of gas. I forgot that they showed that shot, but and so they were like, we're gonna do a bathroom scene that's absolutely brutal. And they did, man. The bathroom scene, one of the best scenes of Halloween 2018. But this was great tension building because when you see this and you see that it's a mom and her little girl, you're like, oh no, please don't let Michael Myers hurt that child. Please no. And I feel like if he would have hurt the child, people would have probably been like, don't watch this movie. Especially at the time that this came out in 98, there hadn't been a lot of like stuff that went really far with that. I think it shows the difference that we've came in like the period of time from this to 2018, because in 2018 they also do like it's not a young child like that. It's like a teenage boy or close to teenage boy, but they took him out in Halloween 2018. No toilet paper. Who the hell works in this random rest area bathroom? Where are the workers? Here, take these Kleenexes. Just watch out. They have some snot on them. You know she blowed her nose on those. They weren't just balled up like that in her purse. She's just gonna have to drip dry, man. Did he like take the whole purse too? I forgot about that. Yeah. I wonder if he just took the keys and then threw the purse out, or if he's like, no, I'm gonna use this money too. I might give me some McDonald's, give me some Happy Meal, maybe a little Big Mac. Mask didn't look bad either in that shot. Don't do it. No, that was a good trickery. Okay, so he did just throw the purse out. It looks like because there was shit all on the ground right there. When I saw this at first, I thought this was like a religious school because I'd never really heard of like prep schools or nothing like that and shit. None of those around here where I grew up. I always thought that'd be cool. I guess if you like don't have any of those around or know anything about those, and you see them on like TV, because you'd see them on like TV shows and shit where like kids like got essentially dorm rooms in high school, basically. I'm like, damn, that kind of sounds dope. See, now all of a sudden they're not going and like planning on staying here. So that's where I don't get it because they don't really explain was that always the plan? And so he just needed her to think he was going to Yosemite. So that's why he was so worried about her permission or what? I'm guessing that's it. I guess that's what they want us to believe because all of a sudden now they're staying there. Alan Arkin, is that his name, I believe, right? Let me look it up here. Make sure that's right. But dude, he played because I always knew him from this, but then he popped up in Sons of Anarchy. I was like, "Oh shit, it's this dude." And he was a bad dude in Sons of Anarchy. He was one of the great antagonists for a season there in Sons of Anarchy. It's kind of weird in this. Kind of reminds me of like a Richard Gere or some shit in this. Not that I don't like Richard Gere, but he's just like a Wish version. Adam Arkin. Okay, Alan Arkin is the other guy. This is Adam Arkin. I'm sorry, I was incorrect. I was incorrect. Steve Miner directed this? I completely forgot about that. That's crazy because he directed was it part two? Yeah, part two Friday the 13th. Completely forgot he directed H2O as well. Interesting. And that is also, of course, one of the cool things that this movie did is the secretary out there, or the assistant, whatever, in the office is in real life Jamie Lee Curtis's actual mom, Janet Leigh, who of course played Marion Crane in Psycho. And they also have the Psycho car pop up here in a bit in the movie. And when they do, you hear a little bit of the Psycho score kick in, which was fucking awesome. Of course, I never knew that when I first watched this movie. Didn't learn that till I got big into horror and started, then went back and watched Psycho, which is top 5 for me all time, probably. Definitely in my top 10. It's got to be for its influence and such. But after that, and then going back and watching this, I'm like, oh, okay. So there are some things that make it like, okay, I do really like some cool things they did in Halloween H2O, little fan service Easter eggs, and also some just good moments in the movie in general. So it's not like on the bottom half of my list. Don't get me wrong. It's just more towards the middle. Whereas when I was younger, I would have probably had it in the top. But now it's just like kind of middle of the franchise for me. I feel like LL Cool J was just like the comedy relief in this movie, but he was great as it. He's trying to write this book. He's talking about big round melons. Dude, that right there, that line, the fuck me shit. That was literally my line when I went and seen horror movies for a while. Because remember me and my one of my boys that I went to high school with, we were freshmen in high school when Rob Zombie's Halloween came out, which was the first Halloween movie I got to go see in theaters. And I was like, dude, every time I'm scared, I'm gonna pull the LL Cool J. Oh, fuck me, shit. And because I remember that watching that movie. So that's the one line that always stuck with me from this because that shit made me laugh. I don't know why. I guess it's just so unexpected to say that when you get scared. And LL Cool J coming out with that line stuck with me for a while. Obviously, it's almost a decade later. I was in the theater using that as my line if I got shook. Ronnie, don't you get your ass fired. Why you look right at there on the camera? He looked right down the barrel after she said that. Comb your hair. What the fuck you tell him comb his hair for? That's funny because that shit I was talking about earlier with how he likes to have his hair messed up when he's playing high schooler. He always said in the behind the scenes. It's almost like LL Cool J knew that. I was like, I'm gonna improv this little line at the end. Comb your hair. Comb your hair. A little off campus lunch. Run into your mom. What's the damn chances? She's the damn headmistress of the school. Essentially the dean, basically. If we're talking university terms. But this is Hillcrest Academy, the prep high school. She's like, oh, I remember when I used to get to enjoy Halloween. Then I was brutally attacked by what I found out was my brother. Which I never really liked that personally. I think it puts the whole franchise into a corner then where after that, that's why they felt like they need to go after relatives and shit. And John Carpenter himself didn't like it. Because you guys know he said he had to get drunk to write Halloween too. Which, I haven't done a commentary for yet. Not one of my favorites. I'm not the biggest fan of Halloween 2 personally. Do I like it more than Halloween H2O? They're close to each other in my franchise ranking, I'd say. But I much rather prefer the angle that the David Gordon Green trilogy went in, taking place after Halloween 1, so it never establishes their brother and sister. But I think that if you're gonna do that and go away from that, I think it'd be cool to see the franchise go away from that and, like, go after Halloween 1, they're no longer brother and sister, but he's not going after Laurie, like, he just set Michael free, let him just go wreak havoc on Haddonfield and have the theme be like, why has he terrorized this town, year after year or some shit like that? And it's kind of like the town against him, which I know they tried to touch on a little bit in the David Gordon Green trilogy, but I think they really kind of dropped that off, especially in Halloween Ends. I don't know what the fuck they were doing with Halloween Ends personally, but I think that that would be cool. Just like, uh, because one of the scripts, the unmade scripts that they talk about in one of the Taken Shape books, and you can go read the script. I think it's like the end of the movie ends with Michael Myers breaking free, and he writes like on a chalkboard or some shit, or writes with blood. I can't remember what the fuck it was. He's like, "This town will never be safe again," and so that just made me think like that's an angle you should explore as a theme for like the franchise versus going after relatives and shit. It's just something like that. Like this whole town is like he's just terrorizing this town for life because he like resents it or some shit or whatever. I don't ever want to learn why, but for some reason he just continues to terrorize this town, and it's this town's, way of dealing with that, and then them, of course, trying to fight back ultimately if you do multiple movies maybe, which would be kinda sweet, and they try to do a little bit of that with, like, the, scenes where they all had kinda gathered up in Halloween Kills and tried to attack him and shit, but I feel like you could explore that further, which I do like Halloween Kills. I think it's underrated personally. I'm not one of the people that hated that movie. There are aspects of it that aren't great, but man, I thought it was wonderful, especially the flashbacks because I love '78 so much. But like I said, after Halloween Ends and what it did, I think I prefer Laurie in this versus Laurie's character throughout the whole Halloween 2018 trilogy. But she's great in 2018. That's commentary we got to do soon. Is 2018. It'll probably be next in line after this one because I don't know when I'll get to it. I may not be this year, but yeah, I'd like to try to. I don't know how much time I'll have. Got to go to work later today, but um, that would make sense to do H2O and then do essentially, H4O with Halloween 2018. And then maybe next October, we'll fill in the spots in the franchise that I didn't hit this year when I just tried to hit some of the ones that, were more standout to me in the franchise for multiple reasons, whether they're my favorites or the first one I ever saw, like this one is, things like that. So then we'll just try and fill it in. And then we'll have the full series eventually commentary available on the channel here for the Halloween franchise. I think it would be fun to do commentaries for some that I don't like as much that are at like the bottom of the franchise because then I'm probably just gonna laugh and shit. 'Cause some of those do have moments where you're just like, "What the fuck?" and you're laughing. That's crazy. We about synced up saying "What the fuck," and that was not planned. But like Halloween 5 for me, Halloween Resurrection, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Like, all of those for me have moments that are just, like, laughable, like, "What the fuck is happening?" That's crazy. What's the chances we both said "what the fuck" at the same time? Here it comes. Here comes the line, guys. Michael Myers is dead. Josh Hartnett's just chewing up the scenery killing this scene right now. I watched him burn. Which realistically, man, that's essentially a timeline in and of itself, just Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, and cut it off there because they were I mean, they really did were in a huge explosion, Loomis and him. I wonder at what point in his life she told him, like, "Listen, here's something I gotta tell you. Like, let's say he was 13. You're 13 now, son, and here's the truth about us. My name's actually not Carrie Tate. My real name's Laurie Strode. I'm from Illinois, and my brother is a murderer that killed most of my friends when I was 17." And you're just like, "I'm just trying to eat my cereal, mom." The fuck? Because I mean, in this movie, when we come in, obviously he already knows because he said, dead brother and knows shit and is even saying the name and everything. So, and he's 17 now. So at some point in the past 16 years, he learned of this family history. And at that point, he's like, well, my life's fucking weird now. I like how he's just sitting there. It's like, they'll never see me. They have a great window tint on this fan. He was writing his memoirs. He's like, you idiot. He's like, I'll let you go and then you get caught. I think the fact that he said psycho is actually on purpose as well because of the nods we were talking about earlier with Janet Leigh and shit in this movie. I mean, doesn't this even just feel like more Scream just because the fact that we're like out of school, bunch of kids, high school? I mean, I know we always deal with that in the Halloween franchise, but we're not usually at school. It's usually like dealing with babysitters and shit. So it went a different way with this, but I mean, Oh, dude, the dumb waiter. I forgot about that. That's one of the best scenes here in this movie that always used to freak me out, especially when I first watched this shit, was it what ends up happening with the dumb waiter, which was a nice touch for a horror movie to put that shit in there. They did good use of, like, their environment in this because you got the dumb waiter, then they're teasing you with the garbage disposal thing later. Spoiler alert, Michelle Williams. That's dope. I could never make that, though, because I cannot draw for shit. Well, at least I couldn't put the pumpkin. I could maybe draw like a road and a path for like a scavenger hunt type thing, but as far as drawing anything, no, not at all. I can't even draw a stick person hardly correctly. It's how bad I am drawing. Would not be happening. I would have to like pay an artist. Hey man, want to do something cool for my wife? Or I guess in his case, my girlfriend. Could you like draw a map? Basically like a blueprint of my house. And then this guy's gonna have a blueprint of my house. He's gonna like know the whole layout. He's gonna sneak in and try and rob us one night or like when we're away. So it would be a bad situation. I just wouldn't be able to draw it. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah. You're getting laid for Halloween, brother. You're getting laid for that. You make first of all, you make the cute little scavenger map, and then you have all this set up. Which I do like this angle that he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna celebrate Halloween because we don't ever get to do that in my fucking family. So it's cool for you, and it's a surprise, but also it's really good for me." Oh, how sweet. He's saying you're right about his life. I feel like you didn't need that line. I feel like it was implied because I literally just said he's saying you're saying what's right. So it was obviously inferred, and we got it. Boom, cut out about 15 seconds right there. Which this movie is great pacing, really. I mean, this movie is like an hour and 26, I think, is what I saw it was. Let's see if I can pull that back up and confirm that. Is that right? What's the runtime? Tell me. Yeah, an hour and 26, and that's probably with end credits. So this movie's like 80 minutes long, guys. The hell. So this is the first time we know that he's really there because she's seeing him. But also, you see what they're doing? It's a callback to the classroom scene in 78. Nice touch there. And much like in 78, this is kind of talking about the theme of this movie, confronting the monster, which is obviously quite literally. I mean, it's a little heavy-handed. They could have went with something a little bit more subtle because that's what we get at the end. Laurie with the fucking axe, like, Michael, I'm ready. Let's get it on. That's one of the cool scenes of the movie. That's like what's so badass. So I like Halloween 2018 because she was kind of like that for the whole movie, but then they just like neuter her character throughout the rest of the franchise. Like, well, she's just gonna be in a hospital bed, all the kills, and then we're gonna act like we're setting up a big showdown and it ends. But nah, dog, nah, we doing some other shit. Have fun at Yosemite, John. Which in one of the original scripts for this, they were gonna tie in 4, 5, and 6 somehow. I think it was just like through dialogue pretty much, but they were like gonna have, I think, one of the kids in the class that she was teaching reading something about essentially like what happened in the Thorn trilogy, and like that's when she finds out about what happened to her daughter, and so like then she throws up and gets sick, so it like ties 4, 5, and 6 into the franchise and says like that they happened too, because you could easily do that because like I said in Halloween 4 it picks up that she died in a car accident. Here we find out that she faked her death and has been in California this whole time, but it eliminates 4, 5, and 6. It's saying only Halloween 1, Halloween 2 happened, but you could still do this movie and say 4, 5, and 6 happened, and that she was just in California the whole time. But I guess they just wanted to say Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 only happened because they didn't want to feel like, damn, then we're saying um, Laurie Strode's a deadbeat mom. Like she knew her kid was there the whole time and like was just too scared to ever go back and take care of her, or didn't take her daughter with him and just started a whole new life here. And she has a son now. So they're like, we got to not say Halloween 4, 5, and 6 happened because if not, then it's really fucked up that she has a whole new life and a new son and doesn't even talk to her other kid, and her other kid thinks she's dead. So I guess that's why they went that way with it. But then it's kind of funny though because it's really like history repeating itself when you think about it. Because this was a decent. Oh, here's the moment. We gotta take this in, and then I'll hopefully I'll remember that thought. Oh, I forgot they called back to that line too in '78. Can we call more callbacks in this movie than I remembered? Listen, here it comes, about to kick in, guys, and the score. Just wait for it. You will hear it. I bet that's special for Jamie Lee having this scene to share and go back and look on now. Listen, hear the Psycho score? They're using this utilizing Psycho score just faintly in the background right there. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. Nice touch. But I was gonna say that like history repeats itself because when you look at this Halloween H2O, they were trying to bring the franchise back, and then Halloween Resurrection killed it, for a few years, a handful of years there. Then Rob Zombie had to reboot the thing, which they probably would have liked to do a trilogy, much like David Gordon Green did. And then similar, go back another 20 years later, Halloween 2018 comes out strong. Oh, yeah, we're going to have another good series of movies. And then a lot of people felt like Halloween Kills knocked it off. I enjoyed Halloween Kills, but then Halloween Ends essentially ruined the whole trilogy for me. I like to just pretend that Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills exist and, and just got to forget about Halloween Ends. There are some cool moments in it, some cool kills and stuff, but just overall, nah, man, nah. I mean, you did Resurrection all over again. You had Michael Myers like a little bitch. Like, he just gets the shit beat out of him by this freaking young high school, college kid, whatever. Oh, okay, LL. Tell him. The ladies love Cool J. That's what LL stands for, if y'all never knew. Now you know. Who would text me at a time like this? Bro, Michael really pulls some shit here. I thought for sure this was going to be LL Cool J's death scene, too, when I saw it was Michael's car. So they played with us on that one because I'm sure everyone thought that. But also, I didn't want to see him go because he was like some of the best comedy relief so far in the movie. Oh, pull some slick shit, walk right behind you. Didn't even see me. And I'm in. I'm in the gate now. So I think that's where you fucked up as a security guard, LL Cool J. You were worried about your memoirs. If you were going out there, should have shut the gate behind you. I'm sure you got a key to that shit. Does it only work on the push button? No, if it does, there's another keypad outside. So you shut it after you go out behind you. And then you mess with the car, turn it off if you want to, open that shit back up, and he don't get in. Now look, I'm in and I have a new mask. Now the mask really looks funky in a couple scenes. I think it's the garbage disposal scene, and then of course the one where they meet face to face, right there in between those, in between that door, with that door in between them. I guess I should say I don't know how to put that. Yeah, the door in between them, the door in between their two faces, Laurie and Michael, and the mask kind of looks funky as hell right there too. Hello, you done cut the phone line. Michael said, "I'm smart. I know what I'm doing here. I'm gonna cut the phone lines. I'm gonna cut all this shit, and I'm gonna go in, find my sister." What do you think Michael's been doing for 20 years? That's what I always wondered about this one. Michael's like, I tried to get her, I couldn't. I thought she died. And then I started hearing rumors she was alive. So I was like, how can I find out for sure? I was like, I'm gonna go to that nurse, that one nurse that I met that one time, when I broke in and stole her car. I think that she might have a file. I don't know. It's a stretch. And what was he doing? Just like chilling for 20 years? Or was he like faking his death as well after that shit with Loomis? Like how did that come about? He just get up and walk out the morgue? They came back to get the bodies. The coroner showed up. He wasn't there. Only Dr. Loomis was. I never thought that they really touched on that part. The way they got his hair spiked up, he looked like he's in a punk band. Oh no, this is real. This is happening. I think. I think he was really there at that point because obviously we knew he was in there. But also, it's like I said, they can toy with us with that, knowing that she has those visions. And he's got to make the rounds, check on everybody. And I think they're actually even watching Scream when he goes and checks on the girls, if I remember right. Where the hell did he come from, though? He just like popped up there. I think they were trying to make him a red herring or something. Oh no, he was really there, but he wasn't walking towards her as far though because he was way back there when he saw him. Yeah, Scream 2, to be exact. How are they watching Scream 2? Did Scream come out in 96 and this came out in 98? Did Scream 2 come out in 97? Did they really release it a year later? Let's see. Yeah, they damn did. Scream 2 was 97. Dang, they really fast tracked that shit after Scream. I forgot that they came out a year later. He's getting his nipples pierced. Climbing through the window. Who hasn't done that as a high school kid? Snuck in through a window or two, or out a window or two. You know, what was that little pause? Like, did he like sense something? It's like a family thing. They can sense Michael and shit. And she's gonna drink straight vodka too. So this Lori was like more of an alcoholic, which would honestly make more sense. Like, I feel like you mix this character in some aspects of 2018, and that's probably the best version of Laurie Strode years later after dealing with what she's dealt with, because both of them have good aspects. She drinking the mouthwash? Oh no, she's just hiding the alcohol smell. I don't even know, does vodka even have a smell though? Oh, he brought a pumpkin to carve. So it's kind of a juxtaposition of her and his name John, right? Josh Hartnett's character, I think his name's John, because they're both kind of celebrating Halloween for the first time. She's kind of doing it as well. Had to clear the throat, guys. Sorry about that. I'm not gonna lie, it looked like they had a shit ton of food. They eat good at that private school, prep school, whatever the hell it is. Bro, there is no one in this world that has that many candles just laying around to be able to light. That is an excessive number of fucking candles. What in the hell? That's a fire hazard. And that's just like, just out in the open, sitting on a ledge. It could easily fall off. Blankets all around, books all around. Like, they're if Michael Myers didn't kill him, they were gonna just burn up in this movie. I mean, seriously, you guys saw the same thing as me. That was like 60 candles or more lit in that room. At least we get to see her tell somebody in this movie and get to see their reaction. I think he's, like, not even taking her serious, though, at first here. All the blood from his brain is in his penis right now, so he can't even think about it. You asshole. I'm trying to tell you my life story. I'm trying to tell you the truth. This is a good monologue. But my only thing is, like, I always wonder, how do they try and present this thing as a twist here in a second? Hold on. We'll talk about it. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. He's like, "What the fuck? You're Laurie Strode?" It's like, "Yeah, I just told you that. You weren't listening." He said, "Yeah, I do." Really, she just wants a drink, so she's, like, trying to get him to have a drink so then she can have another drink. It's a move. It's a move. But doesn't she just drink straight out the bottle? Yep, called that. Why wouldn't he? But this is the part that's kind of like a reach for me. And when I was younger, I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." Hold on. It's coming. Now I'm like, "Wait, what? Why?" Right here. So it's like a they make it like a huge moment. The big twist is he came after her when she was 17 and now her son is 17, so she's coming after them again. Okay, when I was young, I was like, "Oh, wow. Wow. Oh my god, what a twist." But now I'm like, it's kind of a reach because number 1, how would he know that her son was 17? I'm gonna guess maybe when he found the files, maybe it said something about her having another kid. I doubt it though. And then also, like, so what I'm supposed to believe that he has to just lay around dormant like he's fucking the monster from Jeepers Creepers or It or something until someone turns 17, and then he's like, "Yes, I can go after him. I got another family member turning 17. Let's fucking go." Like, what? It doesn't really hold up. She got a damn revolver, son. She's ready. But that is like the revelation that makes her know that, "Oh shit, it's real. He's here. My son's 17. He's coming after us." So it's literally like that's what they were trying to establish. Like, once somebody in my family turns 17, I'm ready to go. That's how Michael's just sitting back waiting. I think it's either this scene coming up or the one with Charlie. I can't remember. One of the 2 where he has the weird alien looking mask. I think it's the CGI mask, if I remember right. What's the CGI mask was dumb. Like, why did they even think to try and do a CGI mask? Like, put the mask on from Halloween 6 and let's roll. Use that thing more, and this movie's a lot better. You get the mask right, you get a lot right. Like, imagine if Halloween 4 had a better mask, it'd probably be right up next to Halloween 1, and it's still up there close in my franchise ranking anyway, even with the bad mask. This movie got the mask right at times, but not all the time, and that's an issue. And then just kinda like I talked about earlier with the Scream feel, and some of the things just don't really make sense and hold up, like I just talked about, like, what they kinda just tried to present as a big twist, it's kinda like, eh. I mean, if you just take it on the surface when it happens, you're like, "Oh, shit," but when you sit back and think about it, you're like, "That don't make no damn sense." Oh, yeah, I think it's here. I think it's here where we get to see the CGI looking mask. Dude, this threw me off 'cause, like, "Oh, they're gonna definitely do something with that." Because then you see Michael pop up, you're like, "Oh, no, we're gonna see this man's hand get mutilated." And now, like, I think it's because I saw this when I was younger. Every time I have to reach into the garbage disposal, like, obviously, I know it's not on, no one's gonna reach over and magically flip the switch on, but I'm just always, like, scared, like, "Oh, man, this thing's gonna turn on or something." Because every now and then, you know, you have it happen? Yeah, a spoon or something falls down in the little sinkhole, and you're like, "Shit." Yeah, look at the mask here. Look at that. What the fuck is that? Why does it look like that? The close-up of the eye with the reflection of him is cool, but they probably did that because man, we can't show too many shots of this mask, it does not look great. This mask did not look as good as we expected it to. He looked like an Oakland Raiders fan. Like, it's silver and black looking. Or I guess it's Las Vegas Raiders now, I should say, but I don't really watch much NFL since that move happened. Not because of that move or anything, I'm saying, like, I used to watch it back in the day when they were Oakland. I really only pay attention mainly to college football and basketball. I'll watch a little NFL, like I'm a Panthers fan. I'll listen to their games or watch their games usually, but most time NFL I don't really watch except for I watch a little bit of the playoffs and I'll definitely usually watch the Super Bowl, but I don't keep up with it like that. College football now, I'm all over that. That's one thing that I think's disappointed is we don't get to see a lot of the kills in this movie. It's a lot of just body discoveries, theater of the mind. You figure out what happened. And now I think he's back in a different mask. But this part right here, oh, she stabs him. She stabs her in the leg, but then also you get this dumbwaiter shit. Look at him. He's like, "The fuck? How do I climb up this rope? The hell is this? Never seen this shit before." You know he's never seen a dumbwaiter before. Where'd Michael go see a dumbwaiter? They got that in the sanitarium? Hell no. Yeah. Yeah, this is the part that got me, dude. Right here. Oh, I hate this part. No, motherfuck. Motherfuck. Done smashed her leg all up. That part still makes me a little cringe a little bit, as you probably saw there if you're watching the video version of this on YouTube. Of course, it's up on podcast platforms as well. I know some people like to take it in that way. You know, if you're on YouTube, sometimes it's hard to play this and, you know, play it on earbud and watch the movie on your screen because you know how YouTube is. You can't back out of it or nothing, or sometimes you accidentally hit a button because you got to keep that screen on there. So, you know, look it up on podcast platforms. Follow me there. Leave me a rating on the show. That helps a lot. But, you know, then you can play it and lock your phone as well. Probably something I should have mentioned at the fucking beginning, but I'm sorry. So now look, her leg's been stabbed and I mean, that's just mutilation right there by a dumbwaiter. He's like, I don't know what this contraption is, but I'm gonna cut this rope and make it fall on your leg. So the mask, better there. Still not the best, but better than that shit he was wearing when the scene with Charlie. One of the only kills we really get to see. So not a lot of gore in this movie either. Not something they were going for in this one. Get a little bit there with getting to see the floppy leg and stuff. All of a sudden, no power because the shape is in town. The shape is at your school, son. Your uncle. John's uncle's a boogeyman. Call back to Halloween 4 when they did that shit to Jamie. Look at all that blood, dude. Jeez. Oh, yeah, I forgot this is nice touch here. There's a little bit of gore here with this, I guess you could say, because apparently he stabbed her excessively for there to be that much blood. And we saw, like, the beginnings of it, but then right here, you get a little bit of carnage candy, I guess you could say, with this body discovery. A little bit of Michael's arts and crafts projects he likes to do. He's, like, always like, "I have to put some flair to this," so they find something interesting when they find this. So he, like, hung her up and, like, the light is inside her and, dripping some blood. So that's a little bit of carnage candy there in a little bit of ways. Nothing major, but probably the most that we get in this movie, I'd say, is right there. Do you think he knows that's Michael Myers, or does he, like, just, "Holy fuck, there's a killer here?" Especially, like, this part right here, for some reason, always felt really Scream to me too, like, when they're running through the woods, like, outside and stuff. Oh, I forgot about that where he gets her. I love how he just tees off on Myers, like, 3 times, like, what the hell? He took that shit, though. The new guy, he took it. Big ass rock, that's how you hit him. Yeah, he's, adrenaline running right now for him to get stabbed in the leg like that and still be able to run with just a moderate limp. That shit ain't hit yet, but once you slow down and that adrenaline stops running, you're gonna be hurting, boy. And stabbed you in your damn thigh muscle. I think this is the scene where we see the alien mask. I think that was the CGI mask with Charlie. I think this is the alien mask once they get through here and, they're face to face with the doors in between them coming up here in just a second. She dropped the fucking keys. How the fuck do you even how's that even possible to drop the keys outside? Was you, like, holding the keys like this when you're shutting the door? Like, did they fly through the door? Oh, Michael, if you was, like, 6'5", you would probably cut them all to pieces, but you're just not quite tall enough. You need a wider wingspan, man. Longer arms, and you'd have had them. Michael feels like a janitor right now, like, "I have all these keys. Which one the fuck is it?" Alright, look at the mask right here. No, that's not the alien mask. I was mistaken. Thought it was. Think of another scene, I guess. But the mask actually didn't look bad there. Not as bad as it had at other moments anyways. Like I said, that opening had the best mask still. Michael was able to find his way around this school really well. Oh, I just picked up on something. So we're supposed to realize with her seeing that window open right there, that little shot is what tells us how he's in there when he comes down from the fucking rafters like fucking Sting later. Is that did he scale the fucking side of the building or something and then get in through a window? But I guess that's what's supposed to tell us that. Which I always thought, damn, that part's kind of cool. This motherfucker's doing like a reverse chin up to get down out of there. But also, like, what's he doing? Was he just like hanging up there the whole time? Like, logistically, it doesn't make sense. It's a cool fucking scene, but like logistically, you're like, how the fuck did he get up there? And how long was he up there? How did he know they would come down this hallway? Like all this shit. This one we thought this motherfucker was dead. Just wasted all the bullets shooting LL Cool J, you dumb bastard. Like Michael Myers isn't bald. Michael Myers has hair, man. How do you mess that up? And where's a white mask? Yeah, they definitely, I think, originally intended for him to die here, but then after test screenings, I think the LL Cool J's role tested so good. They're like, we're going to bring him back in the end. Because I think they planned on probably bringing him back in the franchise, but then they ended up going a different way and shit with Resurrection. And we all know how that went. Michael been doing some damn curls to get him up right there with the knife, stab it into him and pick him up, the biceps. Which that's funny right there. I do like that like random scene right there that the door she opened was a closet and she's like, "Oh fuck, not again." But also smart to put the blood on the door. So he thinks you're in there. And then like, "Oh, we're recreating this scene where I stabbed through the door." But she's like, "No, I know you're gonna stab through the door because you did that to me 20 years ago." So little small touches like that go a long way for fans of the franchise. See, the way he sat up right there, you should have did the raise up there. I don't like the mask, the way it looks there, though. I don't like that really. And there's the weird mask. There's you see when he came out, he had a different one on. That's so funny to point that out in this movie now. Like mask change, mask changed. Like, wow, what did I just I know they didn't film it in order probably, but I don't know. See, look at the mask there. It looks awful. That's probably the worst one. That one, the one he's wearing now, or the CGI one. Hello, my name is Chip. That 22 Jump Street. Yeah, ram that shit. Because he done fucked that thing up, so you're gonna have to ram it. Oh no, it's still open. Oh yeah, he lets she lets them go. Now we get the showdown. Let's go. It's go time, y'all. Forgot about that. Hey, and that's another nod, another Easter egg right there. She said, "Go, call the Beckers or whatever," which is the people from Scream. In the original Scream, there's the Becker family in the opening. Drew Barrymore's family. It was Casey Becker, and that was a little nod there of the two franchises touching. As Kevin Williamson was a fan of Halloween when he wrote Scream, that's why he had some nods to Halloween in it, and going back and forth with the references here now. And another reason that you could say that this is like the Halloween version of Scream. But I've had a good time with this commentary, and like I said, great pacing, man. It's flown by. Can't believe we're already right here in the third act. But now let's take this in. Let's take in the badassness of this Lori moment. Ready to hunt down Michael and the score about to kick in. This is some good shit right here, guys. One of the best moments of the movie right here. That's not like a callback or Easter egg or anything, but just straight awesome. Dude, that gives me straight chills. She's as soon as she screams Michael and then the score like drops in, that's good shit. It's not my favorite version of the Halloween theme, but it's good, and it came in at a good moment right there. Now, the ending to this one, probably controversial, I'd say, when it happened. Of course, they retcon it in Halloween Resurrection, but, you could take this as like a timeline in and of itself as well. If you don't want to include Resurrection, which I'm sure most of us don't know too many people that like Resurrection at all. If you could go Halloween, Halloween 2, and then H2O, and this could be the end. See, like that right there. I mean, was he just literally like after they left, he just like, "I'm gonna hang up here. I know she's coming back in. I'm gonna hang up here so I can drop down behind her like a badass." That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, fuck your axe. Fuck your axe and fuck your ass. But this right here is what we were missing in Halloween Ends, and why I think, that this version of Laurie, ultimately, some people are saying, okay, this was actually a better version because we get the ultimate showdown here for like the entire third act. It's her ready to face Michael. She's not running, and having him chase her. She's coming back to hunt him down and face him. Of course, then she immediately loses the axe and then is like being hunted again. But like we get this nice little hold back and forth cat and mouse for the final third act and get the showdown that you came here for, that they kind of advertise Halloween Ends as, and we didn't get. When you go back and watch Halloween 2 H2O, you see, oh hell yeah, we get that. Now, did it end the way a lot of people wanted? Not necessarily, but I don't know. I think they were trying to make it definitive. I think in a perfect world, and this is what I would want it out of Halloween Ends as well, is you have, like Van Helsing go down with Dracula, like they go out together, kind of almost like what they were looked like they were gonna do in Halloween 5 when Dr. Loomis was beating the shit out of Michael with that fucking 2x4 and then collapsed, like, with a heart attack, and it was like he killed him and then died right after, and, like, you just have them go out together. That's what I think you like, if you're going with, like, the best option for an ending for Laurie and Michael's saga, not what the hell they did with Halloween Ends. Another huge problem I have with the movie, of course, is the ending. And we don't get the showdown like we do in this movie, which is badass. Hell of a showdown here. Go ahead, Laurie. Stabbed him with the damn flag and then took off. Shit ton of knives. Just grab one, the biggest one. Grab that big butcher cleaver shit. She just start throwing knives. Those aren't throwing knives. They're steak knives. How you not gonna hit him once? Smart though. She just knee him in the balls. You see his eyes. Oh, my nuts. Got me in my cojones. Oh, here we go. Back where we started. We've made a huge lap. This time I'm popping out and stabbing the hell out of you. Because look at Laurie right here. You can see Laurie being a badass here a little bit, stabbing the hell out of him. And then he drops down. Which really, when you think about it, and I never even took this in till just now, that's a callback to 78 as well. Obviously, with the ending when he fell off the ledge and was shot out the ledge by Loomis. This time she stabs him off the ledge. But, doesn't fall outside, just falls into a different room of the school. But very similar. Never even put two and two together there. Like I said, I can't math well, obviously. And this is the moment that they talk about in Scream. You think the killer's dead, but he's always coming back for, final scares. She's got a little slash down the arm is all. That's how you know you're a badass. Like, man, the killer's coming after me again 20 years later. And I'm even more badass than I was in 78. I was ready in 98. Yeah, he thought you was going to touch me. I'm telling you, I'm bad. Yeah, pull that thing out and go back in with it. And go back in on the other side. Get the heart. Doesn't she get, like, stopped? Yeah. Yeah, that's the reveal that he's alive. He should not have stopped her, LL. Should not have stopped her. He's never dead when you think he's dead. Obviously. I mean, we're talking about in this movie, in the timeline that we're in, he was literally blown up in a room full of, like, oxygen tanks in Halloween 2, and he's all good. He's good to go. I'm gonna write a romantic thriller now. I know my shit. All right, guys, here we are. The ultimate ending to this movie, which really is awesome. I mean, when you think about it, I know it's retconned and stuff, and when you go back now, it doesn't have the same impact as probably when people originally saw it in 98. But man, this is what you want to see, some badassness right here from Laurie Strode. But very also controversial because people are like, what? He's gone? And I think that the Akkads always had that rule, you can't kill Michael, which I don't know if Malik sticks with that as much as Mustafa did after seeing Halloween Ends. But Mustafa Akkad always had the rule, you can't ever kill Michael. So that's why I think they had to start Halloween Resurrection with, the throwback retcon in this scene essentially and explaining that, hey, no, it wasn't even him. But when you first saw this, you're like, oh man, this is dope. Because, like, for one, she knew he was still alive, I think. And she was like, I got to finish the job. There's no way he's actually dead. But you got to think they almost have like this brother sister telepathy shit going on or something for her to know that. Look at the movement. The body bag is starting to move. It's hey, I can't see with this thing on. Shut up, little giants. Who put me in this sleeping bag? Are we going camping? Yeah, at this point is when you start freaking out, like, he's gonna bust out of this thing. This man's got crazy strength, he can probably pull this zipper apart. Dude, I wonder if, like, they just had a hole in there for the actor to breathe because, like, somebody really is in that thing. Oh, no. He did it. He pulled it apart. He ripped it like Hulk Hogan rips his T-shirt. And she's smart here. She's like, "I'm fucking flying this motherfucker out the windshield." Kinda also doesn't make sense with the retcon though, because if that wasn't Michael, why would he, like, reach for the front seat, reach for her instead of just, like, breaking out and just, like, pulling off the mask so then, like, she could see his face and be like, "Hey, obviously I'm not Michael." So you can obviously tell that's something that came after. This was intended to be, like, a definitive end. Like, we brought back Lori to the franchise, and, like, she thought Jamie Lee thought, like, "Okay, I'm coming back to finally, win in the end, to take him out officially." And that's what she thought she was coming back for. That's why when she knew that she had to come back for Resurrection, she was like, "Yeah, just kill me off at the beginning. I'm not gonna be in this movie longer than, like, 10, 15 minutes." What's the opening? One of the best parts of Resurrection, unfortunately. And this is just straight pure luck. What's the chances that the truck rolls exactly onto him and you don't get, fucked up by it? Get to grab your axe. Remember, he said, "Fuck your axe. Show him what you think about it. Show him what you think about it, Laurie." Mike Laurie Strode. The van's catching on fire. Hurry, it's gonna blow up. I feel like you probably, when you saw that flame, though, you probably could have left it. It'd have blown up. He'd have fucking been chambered himself. But she had to know for sure. She had to know. All right, guys, we're at the close here. If you're watching this, if you're watching this now, with me, you just do me a favor here on the YouTube video. If you're on the video version, give me a like. It helps shit ton with the algorithm. If you're on the audio version, leave me a rating. Helps with the podcast. Going to release some more movie reviews and movie news podcast episodes here soon. And of course, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe here to the YouTube channel. Ton more horror movie content. Also talk comedy movies, superhero movies, and TV series. And then I cover the College Football 25 video game. And of course, College Football 26's news starts to come out on it as well. So be sure to subscribe here. More fun in the future. But I've had a lot of fun with the October Horror Onslaught here that we're now got to continue with H2O, which, like I said, greatly paced. The shit flew by. But let's take in this ending together now. But see, that part always threw me off because then that made me wonder, did they know they were going to do what they did in Resurrection? Because why did he touch his head and grab it like that and everything in this if not? Or maybe if he was wondering like, "Oh, shit, I'm still alive." It's like, "I'm gonna make one last plea to my sister. Please take my hand." "Take my hand, child. Take my strong hand." I just watched Scream 2 the other day after I heard the news that the Wayans are bringing it back. Or not Scream 2, Scary Movie, sorry. Scary Movie 2. Now they're bringing back Scary Movie. Look, at this point, you thought you could do it, then all of a sudden, no! Not so fast, my friend. Here we go. Let's get into it. Get in the mix. Jose Canseco. Sammy Sosa. Shabbat. Oh. Talk about a splitting headache. Cut his head clean off, and then the score kicking in. Good stuff there. Good stuff. Like I said, this movie does have good moments, man. Gotta love it. And there it is, guys. Halloween H2O in all of its glory here for October Horror Onslaught here on JC's Pop Culture. Got through it, another commentary done. Appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Happy Halloween, and I will catch you on the next one.